everybody, David Koon here. It's been a long time, or it's been quite a while. I've been spending a little bit of time watching Gman's experience. Wow, man, what a ride, man! What a ride he's on. Such a wonderful change and such a beautiful energy that has transpired after this accident, man. I don't think he realized. Obviously, he didn't realize what was going on when he had the accident, and some, therefore, a short time afterwards, and the pain that he had to endure and everything like that. I think when he first asked or commanded his higher self, in a sense, hey, I want to change here. We got to make some changes with my health and my finances, and obviously, his higher self, he had spoken that. Had communicated to him that this wasn't. I don't think this is what you. I don't think you realize what you're asking for, and he didn't. But I'll tell you, sitting back as many of us have, and watching the transformation. Gman's always been a pretty cool dude, in my opinion. I've really gotten a chance through this experience to get to know him, and he's a good guy. I mean, he really is a phenomenal person. But the times that I've spent with Gman in the past, on Skype and just through some minimal communications, and watching his videos, and when he's in the interviewer mode, which is quite good at, actually, one of the better ones that's out there that I've seen. You can still see some of the changes. I mean, you can see him then, if you knew him at all then, and then you see what he's been going through. The changes are phenomenal. And even if you don't notice, if you didn't know him before, the energy that comes off of him now is such a humbling and very, very warm and very high vibration. And it's just a wonderful thing. All the experiences that he's been going through, they're a lot deeper than what he can even imagine, and he's doing this on so many different timelines. So it's really a lot more going on than what we even see. Maybe Naya, obviously, I believe that she knows a lot more, or recognizes a lot more, or reads the energies, or whatever her however she does what she does, and I know that she's more aware of it. And speaking of which, oh my God, can you believe that, man? Isn't that some freaking awesome, just awesome human being, and being right in there in alignment, and just going like, man, yeah, I'll be there for you, brother. That's amazing. That's wonderful. And getting that a little bit, I'll get back to Gman and Naya here in a bit. I just wanted to make sure that I recognized Gman and Naya, and the situation that they are now going through together. It's pretty phenomenal. And Gman, man, you keep it up, buddy. You're turning into quite the spiritual being in this situation that you're going through. Of course, we're in the flesh, and there's a lot of things that we are totally blind and naive of. But and it's just amazing, and I thank you for sharing with us all, and getting you allowing us to experience this with you, and your act of sharing. I know you're just trying to go through the healing, and it's a healing process with you, but it's more than that. And I know you're not looking for more than that. I mean, you want to help people and you want to touch people, but this is strictly you being you, the most genuine G-Man Gary that there is being shown, and I'm so thankful for you, man. I'm so thankful for you. I just want to change up a little bit and take just a moment to try to keep this on a positive note, just to give it a little bit of update of what's been going on in my life over the last a few months. It started back in February, March, sometime in that area. It was put upon my heart, or I had a little bit of awareness at the time, that I needed to tear out an old ramp that my mother. Let me back up a little bit. Some of you don't know, but I live on a property in Georgia, Southwest Georgia, not too far from Tallahassee, Florida. And I live on the property with my sister, my brother-in-law, and as of recently, in the last year or so, with my mother of 80. Actually, she'll be 83 years old tomorrow. A wonderful woman, raised 8 children. Had a terribly hellacious life. Oh my God, she's phenomenal though. But anyway, we live here on the property, and I mean, all together, I live in a camper on the property. And my mom lives with my mother and my brother-in-law in a double-wide trailer. But getting back to the start of this, a few months back, and it's actually been even longer than that, it was put on my heart that I needed to start doing some work on their home. I didn't need it anyway, but I started doing some remodeling and stuff inside. And it came to a point a couple months back in March or somewhere in between February and March, that I was going to have to, they had an existing ramp outside for a wheelchair that was real short, and it was needed to be redone. So I had that on my mind and on my heart, and I think you all might have, some of you may have seen the video I had a while back about basically the law of attraction. And I was able to come up with a trailer and traded that for some wood and some different things like that to redo my sister's cabinets in her kitchen and to possibly build a ramp. So I was aware of the ramp being needed to be built. So I was able to come up with that understanding and that knowing. So I went ahead and built a new ramp out in front of my sister's home with a small I'd say about 8 by 15 small porch adjoining, that came up off the ramp. And I got it just done, not completely, but just enough to where you could take a wheelchair off. And my mother had a bad situation, and we had to call an ambulance, so they were able to come and get her. Now, leading up to that, let me back up a little bit. My mother went to Mississippi to my younger sister's home to visit for a month or two, and the very next day that she was there, she was going out. They own a zoo, which is a rescue zoo. It's lion, bear, panthers, monkeys, different things like that, different animals that they have rescued over the years. And she went there because she had stayed there for a while, and she knew she was getting older, and she knew she wasn't able to travel as much, so she decided to go and take some time and go to my sister's. And she had fallen the very next day. They have a golf cart, an easy-go golf cart, and my younger sister, she's 2 years younger than me. I'm 57, she's 55. But anyway, she didn't realize that my mom was a little bit shaky, and my mom had went to get up by herself into the golf cart and fell down on concrete. And sorry, give me a moment. And hurt herself quite a bit. Of course, I was here in Georgia, and then it went to. She had fallen 3 or 4 more times in the next 2 weeks at my sister's, and she had gotten to the point where they had called us and they had asked me to go and to drive to Mississippi and pick her up. So I did, and it was a rough ride back here to Georgia. And within about a week or two, it started being obvious that my mother had hurt herself. Now she did go to. Let me back up, and guys, just bear with me. I'm a little bit scattered on this because it's hit me all at once, the emotions, which is good. So I might be a little bit lose my train of thought. But anyway, let me get back to where I was. My sister had I went and got my mom, and I brought her back, and it was to the point to where she couldn't move, and it was getting really bad. And then I had checked her sugar. She's been a diabetic for 30 or so years or more, and her sugar was like 500 and something. It was really extreme. And my sister had been working at the time. She does a little bit of house cleaning and takes care of another elderly lady, 24 hours clips it used to be 2 or 3 times a week. But anyway, she had just gotten home that evening from a little more than 24 hours taking care of another elderly lady. And I told her, I said, we need to check Mom. Actually, she went in and checked Mom, then she came and got me, and she said, what do you think? I said, no, it's time. The pain was getting so excruciating, and my mom was a type of lady who would never take pain medication. She suffered a lot through her years, and she's had a lot of injuries and stuff, so she's a pretty tough older person. Brought up in the time when you didn't go to the doctor. She had too many kids who couldn't afford it, and so on and so forth. But anyway, she ended up, we ended up taking her to the emergency room. She was in the hospital for about 2 weeks, and while she's in the hospital, they ran all kinds of tests. And they did also in Mississippi, they ran, did CAT scans and stuff like that, and said that she didn't do anything but bruise herself. But when we got her back here and all this started happening, then we took her to the emergency room, or called the ambulance, and they came and got her right when I got the ramp just big enough. Everything's in the right timing. Everything's happening the way it's supposed to. But anyway, we come to find out that she had compression fractured her back, and she's got other issues going on. She's just in not the greatest of shape. But anyway, so we brought her back home, and after a couple of weeks, and then we ended up having to do 24/7 care, taking her and putting her on a potty chair and this, that, and the other. And things have been progressing, but I've been pretty busy. Things have been kind of crazy. But through this process, we were able to bring in some what they call the nurses and the physical therapists and the occupational therapists, and my mom was starting to heal, and we got her sugar back under control because my sister and I had taken over basically her having to worry about those responsibilities, and she was getting too confused. So we got the sugar under control, and she started progressing a little bit through the therapies and all. But her shoulders, we finally got her to where she could stand up and walk with a and by the way, I'm kind of all over the place. Through this process, when we had her in the hospital, I had just barely got the ramp and everything done, and then it became obvious that I had to make her room and put her into a bedroom and a bathroom situation that was handicap accessible. So I went in and completely tore out my brother-in-law. He had his own room, and we put him back in what used to be my mother's room, and I tore completely out the bedroom from the the floors up, the carpets and the painting, because he was a cigarette smoker, and the place was just the carpets and all were the nicotine. So I had to go in and de-nicotine, clean everything, get it all ready for her, bring her home, and get her in there. And then through the therapies, she ended up having to use her walker, to move around and stuff, and to go to the bathroom and stuff. We put a belt around her and helped her, kept her, from falling and stuff, and set her down and cleaned her up, and then, helped her do all of her stuff. But her shoulder, her left shoulder, had gotten to the point where now she hasn't been able to do to walk as well. She's still doing it, but we had to stop all the therapies and everything, and she's going in next week to see a specialist. Her main doctor, which I was aware of it, told us it was bone on bone, severe with her left shoulder, and her right shoulder is pretty bad. So we're going to go and see what they can do with that. But she has heart issues and stuff like that. So I've been occupied with that, and through this process of getting back to Gman, going through this process with Gman, and not with him, he's going through it, but we're experiencing it, and I'm thankful for that. Has really been beneficial because it helped me keep perspective, and I have pretty good perspective. I love my mother and everything, but I'm pretty on key with what's going on and where she's at and everything. I chose this experience with my mother willingly. It was a contract that we had at some point in time in our life before we came here, that we agreed to this. Now, even if it wasn't for that, there's some contracts I just walked out and said, forget you, dude. I got enough problems here on this planet in this form that I've had to deal with, and I need to fix me. But then there's that giving, that loving side that can almost be a downfall to me, because I sometimes forget to care about me. But in this case, my mother, I am 100% on board with helping her through this experience. I love it. I don't want to see her. I love being able to be there for her after the love and the ability for her to show so much love to me and to my siblings, even though she went through the terrible abuse and everything that she went through, and that she experienced us going through in this life. So I could have just said, screw this, I'm walking away. I want to change this timeline that I'm on. But at this point, I'm okay with this timeline. My mother doesn't want to go through to the point where she gets to where she's totally debilitated and starts hurting us. And she already worries about us, my sister and I. But that's one of the things that we've always had is my sister, especially more so than me. I can't even compare myself with her, being a caregiver and a caretaker. So anyway, that's where I have been, and that's what's been going on with my life, and that's why I haven't been doing the videos, or that's one of the reasons why I haven't been following along with the collective. I need a little bit of space, and physically my body is wearing out as well, and that's going to change. That's not the timeline I want, and that's another thing I wanted to thank Gman for. Allowing me to experience this with him because of what I'm going through. And without you even knowing it, G-Man, you have been such a healer for me, and you have allowed me to partake in this, and it's allowed me to pull from my higher self at times and to encourage you, and that it transfers on to me, encouraging myself and encouraging my mother and my sister. I try to keep as light. Sometimes I sleep in the living room, usually on a futon right next to her room, to where she can just call me in the middle of the night any time that she needs to, so I can get up and go and take her to the bathroom, check her sugar, give her a pain pill, get her something to drink, just be there if she needs me to. And a lot of times I want to be careful how far I go with this for her, because she's at a point to where she has to wear pull-ups, or kind of like adult diapers, and we have to help her with that and everything. And there's been many times where I allow her to do as much as she can by pulling them up and using her arms and everything like that. But there's times when she says, David, can you put these on? So I'll go in there and I'll joke, and I'll get in front of her and I'll grab her pull-ups, and I'm usually in short pants, and I'll pretend, and I'll go like, okay, I'll pretend I'll put them on, like, well, you told me to put them on, and just to get her laughing, just to change the, oh my God, I got to do this again, and poor David, he's got to go through this, just to lighten it up, and to let her know that, hey, it's okay, I'm here with you, and you don't have to worry about me. I love you, and you're my mother, and this is something that I will do as much as and as long as you need me to do. I'm not usually this emotional. I'm an emotional person, but I guess it's just I needed this video. So even though I'm all over the place and talking, I just want to thank G-Man and Naya. You're such an angel for me. Well, I don't know if I want to use the word angel, but you know what I mean. You're such a wonderful soul and wonderful spirit for doing this, taking the time out of your life and making it part of your life, and it's amazing. So guys, I want to just let you know that the things that we walk through are for a reason. Sometimes they're the wrong reason. You need to walk away. You need to try to change that timeline. You need to try to get yourself out of a situation. If you're in a bad relationship, or something that's harming you, or you have very caustic or family members or friends or acquaintances it's pulling you down, and every day you're just going like, oh I don't know if I can do this. You need to stop, and you need to figure out a way to either walk away or speak to them, do whatever you can to get out of that situation. You don't need that. It's not healthy for you, and there is hope. There's a man that could have died, and in my opinion, I haven't heard a lot on this. I heard something after I formed this. I believe that Gman did leave his body and he did experience the other side. Whether his heart stopped or anything, I think is kind of irrelevant, but it may very well have. But the thing is, he left his body, and look, he was a broken man, and you're sitting there and you're looking at the most humble and loving man and person and human being. It's just amazing, and I'm thankful for him. And I know he's even more humble, and I don't have to say, hey man, don't let all of this get to you and get big-headed, because some people do. They love the attention, they need the attention, or whatever it is. But G-Man, you're doing great. You're right across the line. You're allowing this flow. I always talk about the ebb and flow. I mention it on quite a few of my videos, and that's what this is. It's an ebb and flow. It's always a movement. There's always a happening. There's always something going on. And it all happens at the same time, but we don't need to understand that. I don't totally understand it, but I am aware of it. But in our experience, it's not. And hang in there, buddy. The lives and experiences, you've touched mine. You've touched mine in a very, very awesome way. You've touched your own. You've touched Daryl, and I see you. A lot of the people that have been on these not chats, but on the videos, and been there watching and listening, and the people that's watched your videos, you are making a difference, and you're doing it just by you being you. It's nothing that you have to go out of your way to do. It's just wonderful sitting there and experiencing it, and it's fabulous. I mean, it really is. Not that obviously, some people look at and might hear me and go, like, what the frick is he talking about? It's, because all the pain and everything. But man, it's cool. It's cool. I love you guys. I'll see if I can. It's already been 21 minutes. See if I can get together a little bit more, maybe to give you some more thoughts that I have, and maybe some other videos. But just hang in there, whatever you're going through. If there's something that you can change in your life, then change it for the better. Sometimes you need to walk through the rough times. You need to walk through the tough times. Maybe that's what keeps you humble, or allows your spirit to still be here to affect this game and this life the way that you chose to. It's not the end of the world, guys. This is a very short life. I'm 57 years old. July 7th, 1961. I'm a 777 kid. I'm a 7th child. A whoop-de-doo, whatever that means. But it's kind of cool anyway. And sometimes I act like I'm 7 years old when I drink too much, but I'm kind of making light of this. But I'm rambling now. I just wanted to touch you guys in a personal way, with you being able to see me and let you know that I appreciate you all, and I enjoy the conversations and all that we have when we do have them. And I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. God bless, guys. Bless yourself. Bless others. And I'll talk to you soon. I'm trying to find my mouse. Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye.